Hey guys, so today is Monday, June 5th, and I am about to go and have the ERA test done. I'm a little nervous. I do not like things that are painful, which I guess that's a silly thing to say because I think most of us don't like things that are painful, but I am a little nervous about the procedure. And I think I explained to you guys what it is, but I'll just explain it again really quickly. So the way that my doctor explained it was that after you ovulate, a few days later, where I guess the egg, if it was fertilized, the embryo is going down your tube and making its way to your uterus. Around a few days later, approximately 5 days later, your uterine lining has these things called receptors, which my doctor described to me as like little catcher's mitts. And approximately 5 days after you ovulate, these little catcher's mitts open up so that they can catch the embryo and help it to implant. Excuse me, I don't know why I keep having to clear my throat. Sorry, guys. But anyway, so those catcher's mitts open up and that helps the embryo to implant. So they found that there's a small percentage of women, I believe they said approximately 10%, whose receptors do not open up on day 5. They might open up on day 6, or I guess day 4 or day 7. So this ERA test, and forgive me for not remembering what ERA stands for. I'm pretty sure the R is the receptor. But this ERA test tests your uterine lining to help determine when your receptors open up. So I'm doing a test today, and I have been doing progesterone for 5 days. So this would be basically when I would normally be doing a frozen embryo transfer, but instead I'm doing the test, and then I have to come back in 2 more days and do their test again, which would be after 7 days of progesterone. And based off of the biopsy that they're taking, so basically they're taking a little biopsy of my uterine lining. So that does not sound very pleasant. She said they basically go in as if they were going to do embryo transfer. They put a catheter through your cervix, and instead of putting in an embryo, they scratch, I guess, a little bit of the lining and take it out. So I told my nurse I was a little nervous about the pain, and she said, well, there could be some cramping, and advised me to take some Tylenol. So I already did that about 5 minutes ago, and I'm heading in for the appointment in about 5 minutes. So hopefully that little 15-20 minute will give it enough time to start to take effect before I actually feel any pain. But she did say that it was not as bad as a HSG, which was very painful for me. That was, I think, so far the worst thing that I've done for in terms of fertility testing. And she said it wasn't as traumatic as the cannula procedure that I had when I had the miscarriage, and they had to go in and pull some tissue out, because she said that the forgive me for not knowing the right word, whatever the tool that they use to take out the tissue is smaller than that. So anyway, overall it does not sound very pleasant though. But I wanted to do this because I had the 2 failed transfers so far, and I've had a bunch of failed IUIs. So also, you guys know I went to Cuba, and so I have to wait a couple more weeks before I could try anyway, because of, have to make sure I didn't get Zika or anything. So it just seemed like a good time to do this test, and I had asked the doctor, was there any other tests or anything I could do to help give us a bit more information before I transferred my 3rd embryo. because I still have 3 left, but you know, obviously I want this next one to work and keep 2 on ice, hope maybe for like a sibling in a couple years. That would be an amazing blessing if that could happen. But anyway, starting with this ERA test, so I'm gonna head in and then I'll hop back on to tell you guys how it was. So that should be probably, you know, hopefully less than an hour for me and only a few seconds for you guys. I'm back. Keep watching. I survived. Yeah, so that hurt. I don't even know how to sugarcoat it. That was painful for me. I actually jumped, which I usually don't jump. But it wasn't too long. I guess maybe a couple of minutes. I have like really bad cramping. So I tried to like take some deep breaths and breathe through it. And the doctor and the nurse, they were good. And, you know, the doctor tried to make a joke that I could like punch him or punch the nurse or whatever. So they, you know, were doing the best they could. The part that really sucked was after he, you know, gotten a sample and they had it in the tube, and then the nurses evaluated like, oh no, they actually need a little bit more for the test. So they had to like go back in and do it again. So it really did suck. I guess it wasn't as painful as the HSG, because with the HSG, I actually at one point thought I was going to start to scream. But this was pretty painful. I'm sorry to tell you guys that. I don't like to share bad news or tell you guys anything that might persuade you not to do a test that could be helpful. So, but anyway, I'm hoping that'll give me some answers. And the bad part is, the sucky part is I have to do it again on Wednesday. So I'll probably end this video after the Wednesday one. Maybe that one won't be as bad. I don't know. The only other thing is, you can see I got a needle. I asked for them to test my progesterone level, and I still have to do, I guess I'm going to do this video for you guys. So they switched my progesterone and they increased it from the 1 cc or whatever it is on the needle to 2. And I wanted to see if that gave them a level, or gave me a level of progesterone that they like to see, how, you know, 1 week after starting it. So I will get those results, I guess, later on this afternoon, and I'll let you guys know about that in, I guess, the end of this video. And I'm going to do a follow-up video talking about progesterone and why I switched and why the increase, and I guess it'll be good to know the results of this blood test when I do that anyway. So that's it for now, guys. Hang in there a few more seconds and I'll tell you how the second ERA went. Hopefully it'll be less painful. Hey guys, so part 2 of the video, or I guess I should say day 2 of the video. I'm heading in for my ERA, the second one. I'm pretty nervous about the pain. Unfortunately, I told you guys just a few seconds ago in the video from the other day that it hurt like more than I was expecting. So I've been feeling kind of anxious about it. So trying to relax. I was talking to a coworker who also did IVF. She didn't do this test, but she did the HSG, which was very painful for me, and hers sounded worse. But anyway, she suggested I take 3 ibuprofen. So I'm doing that today. Yes, a couple days ago I did just 2 Tylenol before, and I feel like that did absolutely nothing. So hoping the 3 ibuprofen do the job. Afterwards, a couple days ago, I felt terrible after. I felt a little lightheaded and a little nauseous. So I'm not sure if there was like adrenaline and stuff, maybe a combination of that. Plus I didn't eat because it was first thing in the morning. So today's test was also first thing in the morning, but I drank some chocolate milk on the way here. So I'm hoping having something on my stomach helps. I have a blood glucose monitor at home that my endocrinologist gave me because they said I was borderline pre-diabetic. They said I was pre-diabetic. Then about a month or so ago, they said I was no longer pre-diabetic. But then it seemed like my A1C went back up slightly again after Cuba. I guess I was eating a lot of potatoes and stuff there and drinking. So I don't know what the official status is in terms of being pre-diabetic or not. But anyway, I say all that to explain why I have a glucose monitor. So I did my blood sugar this morning. It was 45 at fasting, which is very low, I think. But maybe that's my normal because I've had that same number before when I've gone to the doctor first thing in the morning before breakfast. So maybe it was that I hadn't eaten. So hopefully the chocolate milk will help. And I'm about to head in. I did try to drink a decent amount of water. They said you don't have to have a full bladder for this. But I know with my IUIs, I've always had not necessarily a full bladder, not like for a embryo transfer where it's like really full. But I've always drank a good amount of water before because I've read online that having fluid in your bladder kind of lifts your cervix up, so it's easier for them to get to. And I never had any pain with any IUI or any embryo transfer. So, but for the ERA, they made me do a pregnancy test, a urine one. I'm assuming it was for a pregnancy test. So my bladder was empty. So I'm wondering if that is why it was more painful too. So anyway, cross my fingers that it won't hurt as much. But I'm expecting it to hurt. Sorry, I hate to tell you guys like bad news like that, but we'll see what happens, and I guess I'll be back in about an hour for me, a few seconds for you guys. So hey guys, I'm back, and you can see I'm smiling because it didn't hurt as much. Don't get me wrong, it was still unpleasant and uncomfortable, but it was nowhere near as painful as Monday, and it was faster than Monday too. So I really think the water is the trick. So that was the main difference between today and Monday. Monday, they made me do a urine pregnancy test. So my bladder was basically empty. And today I drank a decent amount of water, like not, to the point of discomfort, not as much that I would do for like a embryo transfer where they actually have a full bladder. But my bladder was not empty and it was so much easier. So I had saw that online now a couple years ago, probably. Sorry, I'm back. It was, the clinic was actually calling me and I'm still in their parking lot. They forgot to ask me one question about what time I took my progesterone. But anyway, like I was saying, I think I learned from one of you guys, a YouTuber, I don't remember who because it's been a couple years now, that if you have, kind of like a full bladder, not uncomfortably full, but a decent amount in your bladder before an IUI or a transfer, it doesn't hurt because the water in your bladder kind of pushes your cervix up a little bit so things line up better. So I drank water on my way here and they didn't ask me to go to the bathroom first, so I didn't, and it was a lot less painful. So if you have an ERA, try to drink water before you do it to help with the pain. So, and I did take the 3 ibuprofen, but honestly I don't think that had a chance to work because I got here a little early and apparently they were ready for me. So they hadn't even been in my system for 15 minutes and they were doing the procedure. So anyway, that's it. So that's what the ERA test is like. Apparently the samples get shipped to Europe, and they said that they will ship my first sample first. Well, not ship, the lab will test the first sample that I did Monday first, and if it shows positive for receptors, then there's no reason to test the second one. But if it shows that it's pre-receptive, then they will test the second sample. And then based off of that, if the first sample shows that I'm receptive, then I think they know that doing the transfer 6 days after 6 days of progesterone is the right thing. If the sample shows pre-receptive, but then the second sample shows receptive, then they know, I think 7 or 8 days would be, I think it would be 8 days, would be 8 days of progesterone before the transfer. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. If the second sample shows post-receptive, then they know that it's the day in between, day 7. So 7 days of progesterone for embryo transfer. So they said they ship it to Europe and it should take 2 to 3 weeks to come back. So in 2 to 3 weeks, I will do a video to tell you guys the results. I think in the meantime, I might do a couple more videos to update you guys on the progesterone stuff, and to there's a couple fun parenting and TTC tags that I saw that I might do as well. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and good luck to anyone who's doing an ERA who looks up this video. Oh, and I found out what it stands for. It's endometrial receptor analysis. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.